Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Anna Manuel. Families receiving SNAP benefits will lose close to $100 a month in just a matter of days. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg spoke with the Food Bank of the Southern Tier to find out how this will affect families in the region.
Beginning in March, families will no longer be receiving COVID-era SNAP emergency allotments. This change will impact over 1.6 million New York households, and SNAP benefits will fall to only $6 per person per day.
So February is the last month where folks who will be receiving those emergency allotments, that those will be received. And so starting next month, March 2023, it will go back to the quote unquote normal amount that folks were receiving pre-pandemic.
SNAP is the nation's first line of defense against hunger. According to the Food Bank of the Southern Tier, for every one meal the Emergency Food Network provides, SNAP provides 9.
So our biggest, concern is just making sure everybody knows who's participating in SNAP that these decreases are coming, and to try to plan ahead, to utilize their resources, to visit food pantries, to see what other benefits they might be eligible for, things like that.
The Food Bank of the Southern Tier is preparing for the incoming hunger cliff.
We're also circulating information, in the community on our free grocery options. We have food pantries that are partner agencies of ours. We now have school food centers in a lot of communities. There's a lot of ways that, folks can be accessing these food resources. And so we're just trying to get that information out there, kind of anew, knowing that more people will be in need in the coming months.
If you have any questions about what to do or where to go if you are facing food insecurity, you can call the Food Bank of the Southern Tier for more information. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Southern Tier.
Senior citizens will soon have better access to locally grown food. Governor Kathy Hochul announced that the State Department of Agriculture and Markets will receive $3.8 million to modernize and expand the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. Farmers markets, roadside stands, and community-supported agriculture programs are all included in the funding. Steuben County will be honoring those who have passed away due to an overdose on March 6th. The Steuben Prevention Coalition will join in a national remembrance movement known as Black Balloon Day. In 2022, at least 12 lives were lost in Steuben County to overdoses. Newly elected Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman continues on the path to recovery. That's from a statement released by Fetterman's office today. The Democratic first-time senator checked himself into Walter Reed Medical Center earlier this month for treatment for clinical depression. In an update on his progress, Fetterman's office said he continues to do well. The statement also saying Fetterman visits with his family and staff daily and remains updated on Senate business and news. This isn't Fetterman's first major health issue. He's been recovering from a stroke he suffered last spring. 30 years after the first deadly terrorist attack on the World Trade Center, relatives of the victims and people who survived gathered to remember that dark day. A ceremony was held at the Trade Center site in Lower Manhattan on Sunday to honor those who lost their lives and those who made it out alive. The names of the 6 people who were killed were read aloud. The noontime explosion on February 26, 1993 was set off on a rented van parked in an underground garage. The fountain that memorialized the bombing was crushed in the later attack on the World Trade Center more than 8 years later. Only minor injuries from an 18-car pileup. It happened this morning on Route 9W south at Storm King Mountain. That's about 60 miles north of New York City. One person was taken to a hospital with minor injuries. The roads were icy, but there's no official word on what caused the crash. Police are investigating. More than 1 million Americans have died in the COVID-19 pandemic that began more than 3 years ago. And U.S. intelligence agencies are still searching for answers. From the beginning, Chinese officials have, to some degree, prevented full investigations. But now a U.S. agency is reportedly changing its mind on how the virus originated. Lauren Blanchard reports from Washington, D.C.
The Energy Department has decided with low confidence that the coronavirus may have started from an accidental lab leak in China, according to a report by the Wall Street Journal.
The intelligence community and the rest of the government is still looking at this. There's not been a definitive conclusion.
China has come under more international scrutiny recently after the spy balloon over the U.S. and Beijing considering selling weapons to Russia.
I do hope that this is part of a strategy to hold China in check.
It's going to have a deleterious impact for sure on that U.S.-Chinese relationship, no doubt about it.
In the report, the Energy Department pointed toward undisclosed new intelligence for shifting their position. They, along with the FBI, point toward a lab leak. Other departments still believe the virus was transmitted naturally.
What you're going to find is that the entire intelligence community will reach that assessment because our intelligence very clearly supports that assessment.
Chinese officials say the U.S. is trying to play politics with the pandemic.
As we are getting briefed and updated, the president we'll certainly share that with Congress and the American people. But the president believes that it is important that we get to the bottom of this, but we need to be prepared for the potentially another pandemic.
Meanwhile, some Republicans in Congress want to investigate why many U.S. officials dismissed the lab leak theory early on.
We need to see what our government knew and why they were censoring people.
4 other U.S. agencies say COVID-19 was likely the result of natural transmission. 2 others are still undecided. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
The Treasury Secretary paid a visit to Ukraine as NATO members watch to see if China will offer military aid to Russia. Greg Palcott has more from Kyiv, Ukraine.
The message I bring you from President Biden is simple. America will stand with Ukraine for as long as it takes.
Just a week after President Biden visited Kyiv, America's Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen made a surprise visit to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The two discussing U.S. sanctions against Russia and the latest $1.25 billion transfer of U.S. economic aid for the war effort. That brings the total to over $14 billion given to Ukraine by the U.S.
We welcome President Zelensky's ardent commitment to handling these funds in the most responsible way.
The new funds come as Ukraine ramps up its efforts to take back key cities. According to UK military officials, there have been at least 14 explosions deep inside the Russian-controlled city of Mariupol over the past week. It's unclear how Ukrainians are pulling off the attack, which are targeting ammunition and fuel depots. As fighting intensifies, U.S. officials continue to warn China against supplying Moscow with weapons. The U.S. is already sanctioning several Chinese companies it alleges have helped private military organization, the Wagner Group.
This would be a real mistake because those weapons would be used to bombard cities and kill civilians, and China should want no part of that.
China is rejecting those allegations and has accused the U.S. of outright bullying and double standards. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
Fans of the Turkish soccer team Besiktas are helping victims of that devastating earthquake that hit the country earlier this month. During a soccer game Sunday at Vodafone Park Stadium, fans threw stuffed animals, toys, and winter clothes onto the field as donations for kids affected by the quake. Players and staff collected the thousands of items. The team announced the event on social media, saying, "Always let children smile." More than 50,000 people have died, as mentioned, following the earthquakes in Turkey and neighboring Syria. Still ahead, we have your complete forecast. Plus, a new study finds that workers are feeling more burned out than ever. 3 symptoms of burnout to look out for, and what business professionals say needs to be done to curb the spike.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
It will be a very active weather week as we round off February and head into March. And we're starting off with much of the area underneath this winter weather advisory. As we saw quickly into the evening, those snowfall rates were picking up quickly, and that snowfall started to add up. Temperatures still teetering, though, around that freezing mark, causing for times of even wintry mix that will return again as we head into our Tuesday morning. Now, note that we have the southeasterly wind that's giving us that edge of seeing these near freezing mark temperatures, creating one heavy and wet snowfall, also allowing for that mix at times. But it is a strong southeasterly wind pushing those temperatures up, but allowing for wind gusts to get to 25 to 35 miles per hour within the mix means that definitely some of that snowfall that is falling is blowing and drifting, creating some times of some reduced visibility. And then at the surface, when you have some of this heavy and wet snowfall, it creates that slushiness and that very difficult snowfall to get through, and can really pull your steering wheel with your wheels and your as you're traveling. So morning commute, still keep yourself wary of some of those slick conditions. It's looking like we'll end up with about 2 to 4 inches. It's really going to be dependent on some of those areas that are having some of that wetter snowfall that may lessen some of those amounts or increase it if we stay cooler in some locations. So we'll look at those official numbers as we head into our Tuesday, as that winter weather advisory will continue into the afternoon, as that will gradually then diminish, and we'll step into our Wednesday talking about a warm front on approach, which is going to allow for temperatures to make a little bit of a rebound back up to above average conditions like we've been dealing with much this winter. But it is going to be associated with a few showers lingering into our Thursday, but a lot of attention is going to be on the end of the week, as we could have another winter storm that will be setting up for the region. As a lot of this wintry weather really hasn't been seen much this winter. It's trying to use its last energy here for the end of the season. So as we look at about that midnight time frame, this is when we're going to start to see the system dissipate. However, still into Tuesday morning, there is still some of those concentrates of areas of rain, wintry mix, and snow. By the afternoon, that system is even out of the state of New York, and we'll see some areas of maybe some sunshine before sunset. If not, then we'll see some areas of sunshine on Wednesday before we'll continue to keep an eye on some weak passing frontal systems that will give us some hit or miss accumulation. So temperature-wise, as we head into Tuesday afternoon, as that southeasterly wind will continue and that system lifts out, we'll climb into those 30s and 40s, causing for that transition to see even some lingering rain showers at the end of this. We'll start off Wednesday quiet, but we'll see that we'll have those temperatures climbing into those 40s, and then maybe a few rain showers possible both Wednesday and Thursday, with pretty mild temperatures with the weak system moving on through. But as that weak system moves out on Thursday, it still will be associated with some cooler weather behind it, which is going to set up the grounds for that potential winter storm that will come Friday into Saturday, with more snowfall accumulation and quiet weather by Sunday.
Twitter cut more jobs over the weekend. Amazon is expanding its same-day delivery service. Good news there. And Nokia gets a new look. CJ Papa has those stories and more in today's Business Briefs.
Another 200 people are reportedly laid off from Twitter in the latest round of job cuts. Twitter is now reportedly down to under 2,000 employees from 7,500 when Elon Musk took over as CEO in October. Amazon expanding its ultra-fast delivery options as it also tries to cut expenses. The tech giant is devoting resources to facilities and services in efforts to deliver packages to customers in less than a day. Amazon will charge Prime subscription members a fee of $2.99 per order if customers don't meet a $25 minimum. If you're looking for the best bang for your buck for a quick meal, you may want to skip Panera and Shake Shack. According to a new survey, meals from Panera run an average of $14.76. But most people surveyed, 97%, said it was Shake Shack that offered the worst value. The average cost of a meal at Shake Shack is $13.30, about $5 higher than an average meal from Chick-fil-A. And Nokia plans to change its brand identity for the first time in almost 60 years. Its new logo features 5 different shapes forming the company's name. Nokia says the move is part of an effort to shift consumer perception of the brand. That's business. I'm CJ Papa.
Listen, I don't know about you, but it may be time to take a vacation. A recent study is showing a rise in the number of people who say their job is leaving them feeling burned out. Ted Linder takes a look at the data and what business professionals say needs to be done to curb the spike.
Does your job have you at your wit's end? Well, you may not be alone. A recent study from the organization Future Forum finds more than 40% of the global workforce is suffering from burnout. a new high, up from the 38% who reported these feelings back in 2021. Researchers studied more than 10,000 full-time employees from several countries, including the U.S., UK, and France. And data found more women than men were likely to say they were burned out, with people under 30 also more likely to cite exhaustion than their older colleagues. Rebecca Armstrong of Indiana University says there are 3 symptoms of burnout to look out for.
The first being exhaustion, which can be physical, mental, or emotional. The second is loss of professional efficacy, which can be real or imagined. In other words, you feel like you're not doing a good job, even though you may be churning out as much work as before. The third symptom is less talked about, but really important. It's a feeling of deep cynicism. The cynicism looks like a loss of a sense of purpose in your work.
But as companies continue bringing remote workers back into the office, the Future Forum study found people who were frustrated with a lack of work flexibility were 43% more likely to feel burned out compared to workers who were happy with their schedules.
Executives have to examine the corporate structure.
To help keep the rate of burnout from rising, business experts say managers need to see their workers as people first.
If we are only seeing them as a means to an end, and they will experience it and the burnout will continue.
Durable goods orders slumped last month. They were down 4.5%. Excluding transportation, orders rose 0.7%, more than expected. The report includes orders for expensive manufactured items ranging from airplanes to cars to computers and refrigerators. The drop-off in orders reflects Boeing, which had new orders in December and a drop-off in January. The report also surveys business investment, which rose 0.8%. Still ahead, a wrap of the 29th SAG Awards highlights, winners, and biggest moments. That and more coming up. The 29th Screen Actors Guild Awards took the stage this award season, with actors honoring actors for top performances of the past year in film and TV. We've got highlights of the night from Fox's Ashley Vorkin.
A film about finding family amid the metaverse swept the show at the 29th Annual Screen Actors Guild Awards.
And the actor goes to
Everything Everywhere All at Once, one outstanding performance by a cast in a motion picture. 94-year-old star James Hong was center stage to accept.
When I heard this, I quickly realized that this moment no longer belongs to just me. It also belongs to everyone who has asked for change.
Ke Huy Quan made history as the first Asian male film winner at the SAG Awards when he won for his supporting role. Michelle Yeoh was awarded Female Actor in a Leading Role. Jamie Lee Curtis won for her supporting role.
Believe me, if you just stay in there and you put one foot in front of the other, you'll get to where you need to go.
Rounding out big screen kudos, Brendan Fraser took Leading Male Actor for The Whale. In special honors, Sally Field received the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Abbott Elementary.
On the small screen, the A+ Outstanding Performance by the comedic ensemble of Abbott Elementary was honored. Comedy male and female actor trophies went to The Bear's Jeremy Allen White and Hack's Gene Smart. In drama, Jason Bateman won for Ozark. The White Lotus took Drama Ensemble.
People love money, and I do whenever I can, when your friends are broke, whatever, you can give money and stuff. But you know what people really, the best gift you can give someone is to change someone's perspective for the better.
And we got another Jennifer Coolidge acceptance speech as Tanya earned her a new trophy. Top Gun Maverick landed a win before the ceremony with Best Stunt Ensemble. And now the next stop this award season, the Oscars, March 12th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
A new poll shows a majority of Americans say they are satisfied with their personal lives. According to the Gallup poll, more than 80% of participants say they're pleased with their jobs. 71% say they are content with their household income. The Census Bureau reports that the median household income in 2021 was just a little over $70,000. The poll also found that most Americans say they're satisfied with their social life, lifestyles, and opportunities. Well, check out this recall. More than 1 million candles sold at a major retailer are being recalled due to fire hazards. The recall affects the mainstay 3-wick candles. According to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, the candle could burn the side of the glass container, breaking it. The agency says this could start a fire and injure consumers. The recalled candles come in 7 different Halloween and autumn-themed scents, including warm apple pie, warm, and pumpkin spice scents. So far, the agency says it's received 12 reports of incidents and 1 minor injury. The candles were sold exclusively at Walmart. Customers are recommended to stop using the candles immediately. Those who contact the manufacturer will receive a refund. Stay with us. We've got more after the break. And we want to leave you with a smile. A man sets a world record by visiting the happiest place on earth. Jeff Wright now holds the Guinness World Record for the most consecutive visits to Disneyland. He has visited the theme park in Anaheim, California, listen to this, 2,995 times. It took him only, just 8 years, 3 months, and 13 days to achieve the record. Wright says he started visiting Disneyland when he was out of work using an annual pass gifted to him. On his 366th straight visit, Disney gave him a gift basket and proclamation certificates of honorary citizenship. I'm Harriet Wallace. Thanks so much for watching.